Hey fellows and fellas. Hello Christian family, and welcome to our YouTube channel again. 5 years ago, I was working as a waiter in a restaurant when, as it was always my routine, I received a couple, an old couple. They were in their 70s. So I welcomed them and I was allocated by my supervisor to serve them. As it was always the way I treated my clients, I treated them with such, respect, and they were so happy with how I served them, that we even started talking about personal stuff. And they asked me, "What are you doing? Are you studying or you doing anything?" I said, "No, I don't study, but I would love to study." And they asked me, "What would you like to study?" I told them I would like to study pharmacy. And the husband looked at me and said, "My father was a pharmacist actually." It was such a beautiful coincidence, and at that point I didn't really understand what God was trying to show me. We exchanged emails and they went back to the US. 2 weeks after I had met them, I was going to the internet cafe because at that time I didn't have a fancy phone or anything to access my emails and WhatsApp. And it happened that I actually forgot the business card that the husband had given me. Then I thought to myself, it's okay, let me go and check my emails, and maybe when I go to the internet cafe again, I'm going to bring the business card and then I'll phone them. I will send them an email. As I was just opening my inbox, I received this huge email with them proposing that they would like to pay for my school fees. Wow, I was like, God is good. I was so excited beyond amazement, to a point where now that I am looking at it, I realized that God was trying to teach me something. God was trying in that season of my life to teach me the importance of relationships. So today, I would just like to share a little bit with you on how important it is to have a relationship with God if we want to experience intimacy. In my previous video, I said that a relationship is the foundation of intimacy with God. So you cannot claim to be intimately involved with God without having a relationship of intimacy with Him. So the relationship of intimacy is not just important in the context of our journey with God, but even in life in general. And I believe that God created humans so that He could be able to relate to them. And in fact, we are the only species that God created that He could actually have a relationship with. The nature of the word relationship also speaks to this. We see that the word relationship means a connection, and how satisfied in life we are depends on the nature of the relationships that we entertain with people around us. I remember one day in one of our lectures, we were asked as a class, what do you think is the one thing that is the most important in life, or that makes us happy as human beings. Of course, many of my classmates gave many other factors that they believed were important in life. For example, some say that having the things we love, or actually loving the things we have, is one of the factors that contribute to our happiness in life. Our lecture actually said something that struck me and stayed with me for quite some time. He said that what makes us happy in life, or one of the fundamental factors that makes us happy in life, is the nature of the relationships we have with people. So the level of satisfaction we get in life is dependent on the nature of relationships or connections, the quality of relationships that we have with people around us. I believe that the primary source of relationships should be the relationship that we have with God. Once we have established that connection with God, it can be reflected in our relationships with others. And this is because as human beings, we were born with this innate, this need, this longing for affection, this longing for connection, this longing for love and relationships. And once we have managed to establish a relationship of intimacy with God, it is only then that we can be able to establish meaningful relationships with others. Jesus said that the greatest commandment of all was, and still is, you shall love your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and with all your mind. And the second one after this one was, you shall love your neighbor as you love yourself. Recently, I listened to a preacher who said something that really made me think a lot. He said that there has never been someone who actually loves God with all his heart, with all his soul, with all his mind, with all his spirit, and who also loves his neighbor like himself. I am tempted to believe this man, even if I know there are so many testimonies that we do not know of, and only God himself can be able to determine if there has ever been such a person. But I am tempted to believe what this guy said, because oftentimes when I look around me, it seems that people have become so scared of intimacy. They have become so scared of connecting with others. They have become so scared of loving or even being loved, just because of the experiences they've had in past. We live in a time where people take advantage with other people's ability to love them. And there is so much abuse out there. There is so much of terrible things happening out there in the name of love, to a point where love has become something that people do not want, consciously or unconsciously. I completed my undergrad last year, and it had always amazed me to see that most of my friends or people that were closer to me were so pessimistic about anything that had to do with love, connection, and intimacy. This is perhaps because we have twisted things around. We have trusted people to fulfill a need that only God can fulfill. Our relationships with others should be something that flows from our relationship with God, not the other way around. Maybe it's time we seek to reconnect with the divine before we can confine in the humane. To those who vowed to never love again, to never connect with others again because of past disappointments, I want to say this. It is true that what happened to you was not good, and no one deserves to be hurt because they chose to love. Mostly because loving requires someone to be vulnerable. It requires someone to show that part of themselves that is so delicate. But the fact remains that as human beings, we were created to connect, and we can never run away from a fundamental need that God placed in us. You might have twisted things around by trusting men more than trusting God. But God is giving you another opportunity to start all over again. God is giving you an opportunity to make things right by learning to develop a relationship of intimacy with Him first, and allowing that intimacy with Him to be a foundation upon which you can build any other relationships, whether it's with friends, family, romantic partners, and you name it. So you have a choice today. You can choose to take the opportunity that God is offering you, or you can choose to let it down. And trust me, the day I made a decision to focus on building a relationship of intimacy with Christ, that decision changed how I related to other people in my life.